Hey, everybody, it's Mr. 845 here, and we're interviewing more small businesses on our Let's Talk Business Hudson Valley podcast. I'm here with TJ. TJ, tell us who you guys are and what do you do?
Hi, yes, I'm TJ Del Reno. I'm a comedian, an improviser, and a voice actor, and I live in Hopewell. But we run a improv comedy theater called the Duke Comedy Theater. We don't have a location, like a solid location yet, but we do shows and we do monthly shows. Every second Saturday is our show, Your Bizarre Day. We do an all women improv comedy show that's all women cast. It's the first one in the Hudson Valley ever. So like history, we made history by being the only, all women improv show, all women led show called Hysteria. And then I have a new show called Work Sucks, where we interview someone off a terrible job. But we teach workshops, and then we're going to teach classes soon.
All right, awesome. So, just to kind of get into it and make sure that people capture the information that they need about you, what's the best way to contact you, support you, or just to get in touch with you guys?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You could follow us on Instagram, Duke, Duke Comedy Theater, and it's TRE, theater, THEATRE, or our website, dukecomedytheater.com, which
All right.
has all of our information, how to contact us, when our next workshop is, which is coming up June 8th. And then, like, we do an improv jam too. But it's great. Yeah. The website's the best way to find us. And please come see shows. And that's the best way to support us. Come see shows, do some workshops, try improv out. It's super fun.
All right. And just for the record, that all women hysteria show, you're not in there in a wig being one of the
No, no,
female
no, no,
cast
no, no,
members,
no, no, no.
right?
We no. I mean, it's so fun. Like I love I coach the players and they're so great. We do it at Passion Adult Dance Studio, which is a woman-owned business. We rehearse at River Valley Art Center, which is a women-owned business as well. The printing is Minuteman Press and Wappingers, which is also a women-owned business. So I
Hmm.
really try to
Shout out to Amanda.
yeah. Oh, you know, Amanda's wonderful. I love her. She's the best. So yeah, shout out to Amanda. Good. She's amazing. So she's been printing with us for I think maybe like a year, 2 years or something. And she's just always the work is always on time, timely, quick. So she's great. So we do that, but no, and it's just so funny. Like I coach them just because there's no coaches up here to coach the players, and that's the only thing that kind of bums me out. Is I wish I had a friend who lived in Kingston. My friend Anne, who like moved up from the city, she's a wonderful improviser and she's great, but now she's moving back. So it's like, the only thing is I coach them, but I'm going to tell you, every time I watch the show and I'm doing the lights and doing the blackouts and stuff for the show, I do get like a little like, oh man, like man, I wish I could be up there because they're just having so much fun. It's great.
You're the 17th wheel, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm just like in the background, just like, oh, you guys are doing so great. I wish I could be up there improvising. It's so fun. Yeah.
So let's kind of go into before we even get to there. So before you guys even thought about doing this improv theater, kind of like going way back
Mhm.
in the beginning, like your high school era,
Sure.
did you always want to get into comedy?
So in high school, I grew up in Jersey. I don't want to brag. But I grew up in Jersey, and I always wanted to be an artist. Like I wanted to go to work for Marvel. Was like my thing. I always wanted to do art. I was always like a funny kid, and then my dad loved comedy, so he showed me like, I grew up on Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers. I grew up on like a lot of comedy and stand up, and I just never wanted to do it. And then I had a friend who loved filming sketches, and we both loved sketch comedy, and he started shooting like filming sketches in Jersey, and then we started acting in them, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then we took a stand-up comedy course at the Comic Strip Live, and that kind of opened the door to stand-up because I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I went to Pratt Institute for illustration, and after 2 years at Pratt, I love art. I still love art so much, and but it's like I started doing stand-up in Brooklyn and it just clicked and I was like, "Oh, I love this." And it just was more exciting than like finishing a painting or finishing an illustration gave me like a little bit of a high where I'm like, "Oh, this is great." But getting off stage and getting like even if I bombed or getting a couple laughs, just felt like alive. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." So that kind of started it. And then I took improv in college in 2005 and then that was through my friend was training at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York City, so he would bring his whatever class exercises they did, he would bring it there. So I've been doing UCB improv since 2004 or
Nice.
2005, actually. Yeah.
So I kind of have to wonder, right? Because like I don't know the rules of improv, but it's
Mhm.
like whatever goes on in improv stays in improv. Like what's the catch line?
Well, I think one of the main things that I think is very tough for improvisers in the beginning is like you don't want to ask questions. It's always yes and it's always saying yes and then and adding information. So it's like those are the really only rules, are like you don't want to destroy someone's like your scene partner's reality. So if you do a two-person scene and if I stepped out and I was like pretending to wash dishes and I was like and then my scene partner comes in and says like, "Hey grandma, can I borrow your Lincoln Continental? I want to go to the store." And if I just go, "I'm not your grandma," like it'll get a laugh and that's and then but then that's it, the scene, then it's like now you have to refigure everything out.
Yeah.
So you never, like with improv, it's always yes and. So it's always like, "Hey grandma, can I borrow your Lincoln Continental to go to the store?" It's like, "Yeah, of course you can." It's there's and it's low on gas and use your allowance for it. And then you just start finding, the more that you keep being honest and you weave through this scene, you'll start finding like, like what's funny about it, like what's the relationship between these two characters, and then you start hitting the patterns of that comedy, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, the best example of improv is like this is the example I always give when I teach workshops is like if you find a way that you do a doctor's office scene and someone's a doctor and then we're doing the scene and let's say I'm sitting on the table and I'm the patient. I'm like, "Yeah, my side of my chest kind of hurts, doc." And I look around, let's say, and I just gift an idea. I go, "Wow, you have a lot of golf posters up in this office." Then if the doctor may say like, "Oh God, love golf. That's my favorite thing. I love it so much. And, wish I could be golfing every day. I can't. Got to work though." And then let's say like now we know that doctor's obsessed with golf, so now we could use that lens to start making comedic moves. Like the doctor might go, "Well, looking at your X-ray, you have 4 broken ribs." Sorry, I just have it on the mind right now. And then it's like, you find all these, then that's kind of like how improv works. Like then that's the sketch of that scene is doctor who loves golf, and you hit those beats and the patterns and stuff. It's great. I
Yes.
love it.
So I mean it's pretty interesting. So like you basically feed off of another person's like whose line it is anyway, right? Type of
Yeah, yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, that's
Uh
that's the easiest way is to like if you watch Who's Line, it's like that's short form, but
uh
they do a lot of long form elements of like, when they do the party quirks, they're still like setting up the scene of like he's putting food out. He's still like it's still like a long form scene, but like with short form, you have a conductor who's like, "Great, this is the game we're doing. Here is what your quirks are, everybody, and
hmm
now go." Versus like if we did party quirks as a long form scene, it would just be like, you would just have to hope that I start a party and then everyone then moving in, we just starts doing quirks and I have to label what they are. But
Yeah.
Whose Line if you watch Whose Line, it's a wonderful way to find. That's a good mix of like it's mainly short form, but it's a lot of long form elements to it. So that's like the best way to figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like everybody needs a good laugh, right? I mean,
Hmm.
comedy is the light of the soul, I think is the saying or something like that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
basically, it adds positivity to your life. It gives you, I mean, who doesn't love laughing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're weird. I guess you don't like laughing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But going through the process of creating a show and getting things started and getting things going, I'm sure there's a lot that has to go into doing that. Like finding the actors that you want to play in the show and like who's going to do what and the
Yeah.
lighting and the sound and promoting the ticket pricing and all that stuff. So take me kind of like through the process as a business owner, as somebody that's running these shows. Like people just think that you guys show up and you guys just act, right? There's a lot more into it. So what do you
Yeah.
guys do? And
Yeah, so I think so. There's two elements to it. So I'll use the example of like the longest show we have running is called Your Bizarre Day, and that one is we have an audience member like random whoever thinks that they had a strange, crazy, or weird, bizarre day anytime in their life, and I'll have them sit on stage with me and I'll interview them and just like tell us about your bizarre day. Who are you? What do you do for work? What do like etc. And then like we might the in this show I have my veterans like seasoned improviser friends from New York City who have been on house teams at Upright Citizens Brigade, the Magnet Theater, the Pit. So I have like my veteran friends come up and then we do, as I'm interviewing someone about a strange, crazy, bizarre day, we start like pocketing like concepts of scenes. Um So it's just like, if I interview someone and they said that they, their father's, used to get he called his car Joanne, and that their parents fought about it. It's like, then maybe we'll do a scene like that's a concept. They'd be like, oh, that's interesting, calling something Joanne. So then when we do the scene of
Hmm.
that scene in that show, we're not going to do the exact scene verbatim, but maybe I'll pour a coffee and then, kiss the coffee pot and I'll go, Brittany, you always wake me up in the morning. And then, someone could play my wife being like, can you stop kissing the coffee maker? And then it's like, then I would justify why I'm calling the coffee maker that. And then, we do those moves and the beats of that. So when we do Bizarre Day, I don't need to do anything because my friends come up. It took us a long time to find a home, and we have one, which is good, but anything can happen. But we have one at Passion Adult Dance Studio in Beacon, and Callie Rothberg and her mother Patricia, like they're wonderful, and they have a show June 1st and June 8th on Sunday called Love at Newburgh. I don't know if this will air in time for that to happen, but the studio is awesome, and she lets us rent it. And like, so with that, my cast is already made. It's my friends that come up to do it. If I didn't have my friends cast, then it's like the Hysteria show. I
Hmm.
would be coaching the players, and these players just came from like there was a comedy theater in Beacon, an improv comedy theater at the old high school that's now defunct and it's not existing anymore. So
Hmm.
some people from that came to me, and then just other people that wanted to try improv, and I coached them. So we do a practice 2 hours twice a month, where we just rehearse like practice improv scenes, practice and just get the reps into doing it. But yeah, when you set up the show, it's like Passion doesn't. We don't have lights up yet, but we're working on it. But I have to. I mean, the setup for that show is like I have like two lighting stands I set up with LEDs. I'm running wires. I mean, it's a full hour of me setting chairs up, putting the lights up. I mean, it's crazy, and the breakdown's like 45 minutes. So it's like a lot of work, and I find Eventbrite is a very good way to get asses in the seats. Which I didn't think it would be.
Hmm.
Eventbrite's been great, especially with consistency of like our shows every second Saturday, 8 p.m., and it's been going like that. So Eventbrite's great. Google puts butts in the seats, and then also Minuteman Press. She printed me out a sandwich board, and I didn't think that would work, but the sandwich board on the street in Beacon works great. That
Hmm.
people just see it. I mean, we have maybe 4 to 5 people that'll just walk-ins that'll just see the sign and go, "Oh, this looks fun." So yeah, it's great. Yeah. So, but it's a lot of work. I love this. I'd love to have a space. I'd love to have a brick and mortar space, and just where I could just walk in, turn the lights on, and it's showtime, and do my workshops there, do our classes. That's our goal, is to have like some space somewhere, but it's tough.
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, so I run a Comic Con. It's
Yeah.
called Icon Comic Con, and trust me, the only space that I have is the Fishkill Rec Center right now, which is about 10,000 square feet.
Yep. I know where that is.
But the only other place that's big enough for that is like the Civic Center, and that's too expensive for me right now. So.
I know it's weird. I found the same thing in Beacon. Was like we either a space is way too big,
Hmm.
like the brewery, the industrial arts,
Hmm.
beautiful space, huge. So it's that thing where it's like in Beacon, and this is I've been doing stuff here I've been living up here for 2 years. I was in Peekskill 2 years before, and then Manhattan and Brooklyn for like 20. But I find it so strange in Beacon that there's like either the stage is way too big, so it's like Town Crier, where it's like a beautiful room, but it seats like 150.
Hmm.
And right now we pull in 60 people sometimes for our shows. Like it varies, but like we're not getting 200. Or the industrial arts is beautiful, but again, huge. And then or then you have no space. There's 15 coffee shops in Beacon with no stages. And I think that's
Hmm.
the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life, is that there are no performance spaces in Beacon except for Beacon Performing Arts Center, which is like for like kids shows essentially.
Hmm.
And Jake's great. Like, and I don't know if you interview him. Like they're great, but that's their genre. And then I know Savage Wonder's a new space that's opening up. Do you know about that?
No, to be honest with you, even though I'm in Wappingers, I haven't been to Beacon in a while. I the only,
Oh, yeah, there's a couple. But the Savage Wonder's a new space but you have to be a veteran or have your father be a veteran to run a show. So it's like Beacon has these weird like there's always so it sounds like so there's always a problem. It's like either, hey, you could do a show here, but you have to be a veteran. Or you could do a show here, but you got to fill 200 people. Or you could do a show here, but if we have a wedding, we're going to cancel you like a week before. It's like, it's the crazy, especially come from New York City where you could do anything.
yeah.
In Beacon, I find like, and you would think at least out of the 15 coffee shops, two or three would have a stage and none of them do.
Hmm.
So it's just, I find that being such a huge challenge. And now Passion, she bought the front of her building, so now we're gonna mount the lights in the ceiling, and either we're gonna put a stage up or just have the floor. But Callie from Passion has been like a such a like a big sister to us, our little improv like company. She's just been like so great, letting us use her space, and just awesome. They're wonderful. I love them so much. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, collaboration is the way of the
It's
world,
great.
right? So you never
Yeah.
know. One person's space is another person's
I
business,
know
So,
it's great and it works great. She doesn't do like workshops or classes on Saturday nights. So it's this thing where the space was empty, and I'm just like, hey, can we come do this? And the rate that she gave us was wonderful, and like we've built a very fun, cool relationship where the show she's doing called Love at the Newburgh Brewery on June 1st and 8th, I'm gonna run the lights for her, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do the lights for you. So it's been this cool like you scratch my back, I'm going to scratch you. And I only find it with her, I really lucked out that that's our like ally in this is like her and her mom and her dad. Like they're wonderful. They're great. I can't, if you get a chance to interview them, they're wonderful. They're the best.
I mean, we're putting it
Please.
out there, so you guys hit me up. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah.
you
I
on
mean,
the
I'll tell
show.
them too. Yeah. And the studio's good. They do yoga, they do dance classes. It's a wonderful space, beautiful space, and they're great. I can't praise them enough.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's been a while. I haven't been into Beacon in quite some time, only because the way I work in Manhattan, so it's
Mhm.
like that's my day job, and then
Yeah.
this is like my after job, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
by day, IT professional, by night, social
You get to
media
do this. Yeah. It's
improviser, I
great.
guess you say. So now, have you ever thought about, speaking of improvising online, have you ever thought about doing an online or hybrid show to see if you would be able to pick up more audience?
So I think the Upright Citizens Brigade in New York, they do this great thing where they stream their shows, so you could watch like Herald Night or their like weekend shows by like logging on and streaming. Um, to do to do improv over Zoom, it's really not the same. It's the same thing with stand up. Like I didn't do any stand up Zoom shows over like the pandemic. Like I didn't do that. I didn't do
Mhm.
improv over. You can't. I've coached people through Zoom where like, and that's can work as long as they're in the room. But when you improvise, you got to be in the room together, feeling each other's energy, making eye contact. Like there's so many elements. So you could do it, but it would just not be the same if I was trying to have like me and seven improvisers all in Zoom windows doing it. Like it can be done,
Yeah.
but I think it won't feel as good. And improv is also just like comedy. It's like you got to see it like in person is like the best way to do it. Like there's just
Yeah.
something if you film an improv show and then watch it, you might be entertained by it. You're like, oh, but it's the energy. It's when you're there watching it happen magically in front of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It just feels 1,000 times better.
I mean,
You know?
there's a rise in a lot of improv comedians, right? That they
Yep.
basically do a lot of crowd work, right? So, I mean, I know he kind of fell off, but Matt Rife did it for a while. Nate Jackson does it, and then there's also a woman out of Las Vegas. She's kind of like has like fake red hair. I think it's like Clarissa, something like that. But
Yeah.
she does her own improv. Now, do you guys do like a set in that sense, or is it more like you come up with all these different scenarios? Because I see a couple different shows. You have Your Bizarre Day, Work Sucks.
Yeah, Work Sucks is the new one where we'll interview someone about a bad job they had and
Mm-hmm.
talk about their boss, an experience they had, the building, and then we'll basically use that to inspire comedic scenes that happen right before your eyes. I mean, there's it's stand up and improv are two separate
Hmm.
animals, and like the crowd work thing that you're talking about, like Big J Okerson is also like a huge crowd work comedian, but they're not improvisers. But there is there is a vein that runs from like as a stand up. Like I also like host at Laugh It Up Comedy Club in Poughkeepsie. Like I host for Cal a lot, and he's also a buddy of mine. He's amazing, but there is a through line, like a vein through line of like, I host a lot. So as an improviser and a comedian together, the improv reps and that
Hmm.
feeds the crowd work so that I can think of things on the spot faster.
Yeah.
And then stand up gives you the timing. So then when you're doing improv, if like, your timing is better, but it's we don't do any there's no stand up in these shows. It's like watching a half hour sketch comedy show happen before your eyes. It's the best way to kind of break it down is like,
With a live audience,
yeah, yeah, oh
the
yeah, yeah.
claps are real. The claps are
Yeah, the
real.
claps
Yeah.
are, yeah, live audience claps are real, and it's like, yeah, so it's like basically watching like if you were watching like SNL at live in front of you
Hmm.
happening based off like, and then based off of a story or a thing. That's what Work Sucks is too. It's like Bizarre Day and Work Sucks are the same concepts, except
Hmm.
like, one's geared on jobs. But then the second half of the show, so the show's an hour. Both shows are 1 hour. First half is your Bizarre Day. Then the second half, we take a break, use the bathroom, get beverages and stuff. And the second half, all we ask for is a word or a phrase.
Hmm.
So we might be like, can we have a word or phrase? And someone's like elephant. And then we'll do another half hour sketch live show like that, essentially based off the word elephant, all just scenes inspired by the word elephant. And then things tie in. You really have to see it. It's so weird. I've never like had to explain improv, and it's like it sounds so convoluted and confusing. You really have to come see it
Yeah.
for yourself, and then it's easy. You're like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's super funny.
Yeah.
We're all pretending to be characters, and it's super silly. This Bizarre Day coming up on June 14th, I think June 14th,
Hmm.
which I think you said this is 2 weeks. It might be out by then, but
Yeah.
this Bizarre Day is my friend Ian and Matt, we're like best friends, and we have a 3-person improv team, and it's going to be like we're really super funny together and like our best friends, and it's going to be like the dumbest, stupidest show. Like it's just so silly and dumb, and it's the best. It's my favorite thing is when you come to an improv show like ours. There's nothing I just want you to come and just the world doesn't exist and just nosedive into what we're doing,
Hmm.
and it's great. Like I don't ever like getting topical. I don't like getting political. I don't like getting chauvinistic. Like none of those elements. I don't want any of that. I want just clean, silly improv that you can go forget about what's going on with anything, whether you love where the world is or you hate it, and you could just go and watch a stupid comedy show for an hour and go, wow, that was so silly. I laughed so hard. It was so dumb. I loved it.
Yeah.
So that's like my goal, and that's what I love about improv is that it's very pure and very like childlike and just silly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always like when it comes to comedy. I mean, me and my wife have gone to a couple different shows. We've seen George Lopez, um, but we haven't never really been to an improv other than like the dinner theaters out there, right? Like where
Mhm.
they kind of do like a live dinner theater, dinner murder, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Murder
Murder
mystery.
theater. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the only things that we've really seen. So they could get really funny in some cases, especially when the actors die.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like, I see that. I just want to go over the 4 different shows that I see on
Sure.
your site right now. So you have your Bizarre Day, which we talked about, Work Sucks, Hysteria, which you mentioned, and then you also have the Hive Mind.
Yeah.
Are these just the technical theme shows that you do, or can people like say, "Hey, we want to work with you guys. Can you come and do a show with us at like a party or something like
Mhm.
that?" Or like, do you guys also do that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't stretched out to doing like short form in that wave, but like I've done that as like I've been hired to go and do that. Like I've done that personally. The
Hmm.
Duke hasn't done it yet because we're just kind of focusing on just these shows.
Hmm.
The Hive Mind Improv Jam is the thing on June 5th, which again I think that this will be out after it's done. But every
Yeah.
first Thursday we do what's called an improv jam, where for $5 you can come and try improv. So if
Okay.
you're like, oh, you came to Bizarre Day, you're like, wow, that's really fun. I'd love to like try this. It looks it's really because it is fun and it's not super. It's hard, but it's if you love it, it's just it's worth it. But you could come for $5 and then I run the jam and it's just like you just do 2-person scenes with a bunch of people. I do scenes with you and then we do like an improv show at the end. So it's great. And for $5 in Beacon, you could also on a Thursday night watch a fun comedy show from 7 to 8:30 for $5. And it's like the jam is essentially the open mic of improv.
Improv. Okay.
Yeah, like it's not an open mic, but it's the open mic of improv. So if you are an improviser that's you've done improv for years, you'll come through. Like we have people that I coach come to the jam all the time. I've had newcomers that go, "Oh, I want to try this," and they've left being like, "This is so fun!" Like they love it. It's like so it's great. So yeah, so we have that. But no, we're going to definitely branch it. We're branching out to colleges to try to teach them workshops. But I definitely can easily like I have a good cast of local players up here
Hmm.
that if anyone is interested in like having improv at their event or birthday party, like it's please hit us up. It's extremely doable, and I know exactly how to do it. We just don't. I don't advertise that service yet, just because like we're trying to just get like step by step, get the workshops running, then get some
Hmm.
classes running. It's like our shows are going great, so we're like that's the buildup is like shows run, the shows feed the workshops. People want to try improv. The workshops feed the classes because people are like, I love improv, want to try it, and then we keep doing stuff like that. So yeah,
That's awesome. No, I
yeah.
mean
Anytime
it's
you can,
pretty cool. It maybe you might catch a Mr. 845 at one of these jam sessions. I don't know. We'll see.
you should, you should. I would love that. I'll do a scene with you. You'd have so much fun. It's just, it's super. It's fun. It's great, and I really try to make a very inclusive, very fun, safe environment to do improv in.
Hmm.
The theater I was at before before COVID was called Reckless Theater, and
Hmm.
even though the name is called Reckless, the content and the improv we did was so pure and like just beautifully inclusive and wonderful, and just was a very loving place to be. And that's the vibe I'm trying to bring into it. My friend Christian Capizoli, who ran it, he's in the Groundlings. He's getting to be in the Groundlings as we speak in LA. He ran the theater. He's one of my best buddies ever, and he's always just created such a beautiful environment. So I'm trying to like bring that back to where you're not doing scenes and the open mic scenes in the Hudson Valley. When I moved here, started doing stand up here. And I've done stand up like since 2005, but like after the pandemic and I moved up to Peekskill, it's just like it's just a very like chauvinistic, like gross. It's just I couldn't believe I felt like I was back in the 90s. I was like, what is this? It just was so gross. So I try to not have that at the jam. I don't want that at the show. So I don't want anyone to ever leave my comedy shows, whether it's stand up or improv. I never want anyone to ever leave being like, yeah, that was a fun show, but like I don't know, man. When they killed that grandma, that was like a bit much. Like, I just don't want
When they
anyone
kill the
leaving. Yeah, I don't want anyone leaving being like,
grandma.
it was a good scene, but when they did that, I don't know, where was that weird, like, the boss was like molesting that coworker. I don't know. I didn't like, I don't
Yeah.
want that. I
Yeah,
just,
I didn't sign up for a donkey show.
yeah, I just said it for exactly. Yeah, I don't want you coming thinking it's a donkey show. I want you to come and be like, what a wonderful show. Now, I don't want you to bring your 10-year-olds there.
Yeah.
But we've had kids at the show
Hmm.
watch and they've loved it. And like when it's my seasoned improv friends, it's a very easy switch to be like, hey man, yeah, there's a 13-year-old in the audience. So like, yeah, let's not be disgusting. And it's pretty easy,
Yeah, I mean
you
that's
know?
pretty cool to be mindful of that. But I know a lot of kids see a lot of things nowadays, so it's
Yeah,
in some cases they already the parents have already broken it down for them and stuff
true.
like that. But now, that being said, and kind of tailing into like what you just brought up is, let's say a kid eventually, you said you want to kind of get it into the like the younger crowds and stuff like that, to like colleges and stuff like that. Let's say a kid wants to eventually go into comedy, whether that be improv or stand up
Hmm.
or however, what type of advice could you give them as either the funny kid in school or maybe not the funny kid in school, but just is like hidden funny and they want to do
Yeah.
something fun? What to get into the improv and kind of work with you? Like, what's the help to prep them?
Yeah, I think like let's say someone, if a kid, like a younger kid, came and he was like, "Oh, I love improv, I want to do this." Like there's the cool thing about the Hudson Valley now is there are opportunities for young kids to do, like the River Valley Arts Center has improv jams for kids.
Mhm.
So I would always say, and you could come do our jam is fine. Like our jam, I never put an age limit. So, if any, I'll do it. If someone wants to come with their 8-year-old and try it, like I'd be like, sure, like I'll do a scene with them. So I think it's like, if anyone ever wanted to start like improv, I think it's like, yeah, come do the jam. It's at 7 at night. It's not too late. So, if you're 12 or 13 or 14 with your parents, like come through. But I would think like do the jams. I think stand up is like go see comedy shows and go, especially the young, like Chappelle started it so young. And, he lucked out that Tony Woods was like his mentor, taking him under his wing. And I think that's a big thing, is like being under someone's wing when you're young. Like when I started stand up, I was 21, and John Laster is a comedian who works the cellar. He has a special out on YouTube. He's the funniest. He's so funny, hysterical. He's a killer, and he's a brilliant host. And he taught me everything about stand up. But I think if you're young, having that kind of mentor, who John would teach me everything. I mean,
Hmm.
timing, how to host, how to run shows, how to produce shows, how to, and I started stand up in Brooklyn, and I started in the urban circuit. And I mean, you can't, not my shirt isn't this, but I'm a grunge rock and roll kid through and through. And I grew up in Tom's River, in like in apartments in like very poor neighborhoods. My parents were on food stamps. I lived in like a very poor area in Tom's River, like in an apartment complex. So I grew up with a lot of like Spanish, Black, Puerto Rican kids, and like doing the urban circuit just was this. I did it for like 3 years, and it was all over Manhattan, everywhere. Gun Hill Road, Bronx, East Flatbush, like everywhere. Coney Island, like, and it taught me to think. But if I didn't have John, who brought me in to do it, I think that's a huge thing, is having that kind of big brother or father figure that could, like, he brought me everywhere. Anytime I want to do a spot, John, where are you tonight? Oh, I'm in Footsteps in Coney Island. Come through. And I would come through, and John's like, oh, I can give TJ 5 minutes. And the hosts were always that. A lot of people don't know. I know I'm getting on like a side tangent of it, but it's like my like roots are in that circuit. But it's like it's such a beautiful, and I don't like hip hop. I mean, I just was my I never I was myself, and it's like I didn't alter myself, like I didn't like change. I wasn't like on stage trying to like fit
Hmm.
in.
Hmm.
I still was just, like my character of me was just this goofy white kid in this all black show in Harlem, and it was so fun. But it's such a beautiful scene, and I think that's where I cut my teeth and had so much time to just, every show you went through, New Jacks went up first. They didn't care if you bombed. They didn't care if you didn't get paid. They were just like, you want some time? Like, all right, yeah, let's go. You got 5 minutes. It was great. So I think it's finding, if you're young, it's finding that big brother, big sister, or just inundate yourself with shows. If some
Hmm.
kid loves improv in the Hudson Valley and he's like 15, it's like take your parents to every improv show that you could see. Down south at Rhino Comedy Club, Happenstancery is over in New Paltz. Come see my shows I'm doing here. Blind Tiger is in Ossining, does improv. It's like just inundate yourself and watch as much as you can and train as much as you can, and just make it an obsession. That's how people make it, is make it an obsession. And then you just, yeah, it's one day it'll click. And then if you're in the right place, right time,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
mean a lot of amazing famous people did improv, so it's definitely something
100%.
where you can start a career and do the things that you love. I mean, who doesn't like making people laugh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean it's awesome making people like, improv is so good for public speaking. It's great. So if you're someone who's shy, improv is, and I don't care if you've never done acting, improv is wonderful for public speaking. All the workshops I teach will break you out of your comfort zone. You'll feel a little more confident talking in front of people. Like it really helps the stage fright, public speaking, doing something fun, like they're great. Our workshops, they're not consistent yet, but like you just check our website, and it's like
Mhm.
Sunday 2 to 4. It's like $30, and it's just very fun. 2 hour workshop, super fun. It's something to do. But yeah, it's improv is so good for writers. If you're a writer, improv is awesome. If you're a stand-up, improv is so good for any level of stand-up comedian. Doing improv and like just having that in your toolbox and training that way really gets your brain in a wonderful place to like when you're doing a set, finding a natural callback to like a joke in your stand-up set. Improv has helped me do that easily where it's effortless that I'll start
Hmm.
doing. I don't have a set. As a comedian, I don't go up with this is my 30 minutes and it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we're done. I have like, I go everywhere and that's my own like ADD mania.
Hmm.
But improv has made me throw these strings of yarn, like stand up comedian like jokes. And then by the time the show's over, I found ways to tie like six of them together naturally. And that's another thing that improv has really helped my stand up over the years. And then vice versa. Like it's great. It makes you a
No,
very well rounded. And I do a lot of voiceover work for TV and radio, and that's improv also is super helpful doing acting for voiceover for video games I do and anime shows and like cartoons and just basic, a subway spot where I'm guy one. It's like, oh, these sandwiches are great. It's like improv also huge helped me with voice acting, which is what I do primarily for money is voice acting. That's my
okay.
main source of income. And then the Duke is that's my backup plan when AI
Well,
takes all of our jobs.
no, no, never.
I hope not. I hope not.
But I mean, so Icon Comic Con, we'll definitely have to talk after this.
Yeah.
Um, but I always like to kind of go through these like different types of podcasts because you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to like learn about and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So not only am I learning about you, but my audience is learning about you as
Yeah.
well. This is like, I definitely want to check out the show because me and my wife,
Please.
like I said, we venture to different comedy shows. So being
Yeah.
able to know that there's an improv show around here, that's going to be
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool to
Please come
do.
through.
So that I'm a loss for words because it's so fun to like see a lot of the things that you guys are doing and just to be able to actually actively kind of like work with you would be amazing
Sure.
because of the fact that we're kind of in similar realms. But the
Yeah.
public speaking I didn't even think about, and that honestly helps a lot of people. I do a lot of
Yeah.
public speaking, as you can see here. Trying to
Yeah.
talk to somebody virtually is like one of the hardest things to do because when you sometimes can't read sometimes the video is completely off and they're not like you just have an audience that of just faces looking at you but they're like motionless and you can't
Yeah.
tell if they're laughing, if they're crying. You're like, this is gonna go down. So when it comes to like the different shows that you've done and kind of like I want to kind of bring it all together.
Sure.
um Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So like you've had some good experiences. Tell me of a good experience that you've had while doing improv.
Mhm.
You've had some bad experiences. Tell me like, what's the worst experience you've had on stage? Like so give us kind of both, if you will.
Hmm. Yeah, so we'll keep it stand up. I don't think we have 5 hours for me to tell you the worst gigs for stand up. It's just I have so many. I think stand up has way more hell gigs than improv does. I think so. The good for improv is like I think where we're at with where the good for the Duke Comedy Theater was I never thought this would ever be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved to Beacon, I started doing stuff at the improv theater in the old high school. Um, Not teaching for them, but like doing shows with them. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll just, I'll plug in here. I'll just, teach workshops and improv through this, improv comedy theater at the old high school. And then my wife was like, we should do it ourselves. Like, why don't you do it? And I didn't. I've seen it's just it can be such a nightmare with like just dealing with people's personalities and like I don't know. I'm running a business is something that like it's just. I mean, I'm a stand up. I'm an actor. I'm a comedian. I'm like so my wife talked me into it. So the good of this whole thing is I am so proud and happy of how far we've got. Like I think the website is like the website's not the greatest website, but it works. And there's a website that I update and do it. I think
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I could do a show and then we at least have 20 to 30 people that show up at Bizarre Days. If you're going to come to watch any of the shows, your Bizarre Day is the one to come to because it's the one we've been doing the longest. Work sucks. I can't wait to have that one. I think that one's going to be an easier sell to do shows. So the good is how far we've got. I can't believe we have a monthly show. People come back. People want to do improv with us now. Um, the bad is the bad was not having a home was very tough.
Hmm.
We did the show at Beacon Music Factory first, which Stephen Clare's he's a great dude and it's great. It's but there was a lot of like hick. It was consistency was tough. We
Hmm.
couldn't do second Saturday, so that was the bad of that was like we couldn't get the night we wanted consistently the night we wanted, and that was a real tough sell. Um, so I think it's like we finally have the space, so the bad is kind of gone through, and then like I think the ugly element of improv is, and my friends are going through this too, and I went through this. So the ugly element is like big personalities. And when you're on a team of people, it's improv is a team based sport. And it all depends on your teammates. It all depends on listening, active listening, and like really like processing the information. But it's like it's a team based thing. Stand up is a solo thing. Improv is team. The ugly thing for improv that I experienced was when I got on two house teams at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, and I took me like, I mean, since 2005, and I got on in 2000, I think 9 or maybe 2012, might have been 2012. It took me like years, forever, and I finally got in a house team, and it was wonderful. And then our team got like disbanded, but then we were put into a new team. And when you're an improviser, you just want to get on a house team at the UCB theater. It's all you
Hmm.
want
Hmm.
because of the networking. Like I did a segment on the Daily Show because I was on a house team at UCB. I had a podcast called Unlimited Lives on at Sirius XM that it was like in the office at Sirius XM. So I was in a studio. It was like awesome. So you want that. And the ugly part of improv is the team. It's like people don't like everyone's busy. No one wants to hang out. People miss shows. And the ugly part is like when you get cut, which is what happened to me and thousands of people. You know, you could some people stay on these house teams and stay in these theaters for years, but then some people get cut. And when the ugly part of improv is, especially at these theaters in the city, is when you get cut and there is no reason, and you're like, well, what do I need to work on? And they're just
Hmm.
like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of slots and we need to put new people in. And it's like, well, what did I do? That could be, what can I do? And
Hmm.
the answer is like, I don't know, be someone else because we need to put someone else in that. So the ugly part of improv is that it's very heartless and it's very in the city. It's a very like heartless endeavor of just like, too bad. I don't know, man. You're cut. I don't tell you. Like it's go keep trying, keep doing
Yeah.
improv, and you're like, ugh. So the ugly that we're gonna have with the Duke is it would be the problem to have is like if I'm the one after years of building this and we have like a student base of 200 people that I have to be the one to be like, hey, we gotta just let you go. Like I'm gonna have to be the one to, the ugly part is
Yeah.
that where I have to be like, hey
Yeah.
man, I think you're doing great. Here are my notes. You got to work on. I guess we got to, keep doing
Yeah.
improv. It's like that's the ugly that I'm not looking forward to,
Yeah.
is where I have to be the one to like cut someone and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. We just, you're not growing. I need you to grow. Come back and whatever. So
But
I think
yeah,
that's the
but
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, but that's sometimes, I mean, especially when it comes to somebody that's not honing in on their craft or not
Yeah,
putting 100% into it, it kind of might make them step back and kind of like look at
maybe
themselves and be like, hey, do I really want to do this? And then kind of
100%.
like force them to do what they need to do to
Yeah,
get the party started.
yeah,
So,
completely. Yeah, when I got cut, the first time I was cut at UCB, or well, the only time it was. I mean, I just was so mad, and I was like, improv is stupid. I'm doing stand up again. And I went back to, diving straight into stand up. And I have such a weird back and forth because then when stand up started getting tough to get spots, it's just because it's so competitive. And I just was getting like worn out. I would then go back to improv, then be like, oh, I guess I'll do a class again. And then get on a house team at Reckless Theater. I'm like, oh, improv's great. And I'm like back in,
yeah.
and then like the pandemic, the theater closes, like, well, all right, back to stand up. It's a weird thing, but
No, this is,
that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think for
yeah.
those, yeah,
Yeah, TJ, this has been awesome, man. I really
great.
do appreciate a lot of the time that you've given to this. Just being able to find out about your business. Like I said, doing these podcast interviews not only is educating my audience, but it's educating me as well because I
Yep,
don't know every single business that's in the Hudson Valley.
yeah,
I try to accumulate the network of that,
hmm
with my group, the HVFLI on Facebook, but it's hard because to manage 13,000 people, to be
yeah,
able to meet 13,000 people, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'd probably tell you that I see the same players over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
to get some fresh air sometimes and meeting new faces, it's always good to see that accumulatively we're still accumulating businesses in the Hudson Valley
Yeah.
and adding more value to people living here and having fun stuff for kids to do, adults to do. Because a lot of times when I first moved here in the 90s, it was like, what do we do? Oh, we got to walk everywhere, or like we can't walk, we have to drive. It's like
Hmm.
these aren't city blocks, these are country blocks, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're a lot bigger. But this is the Let's Talk Business Hudson Valley podcast. TJ, thank you again for
Yeah.
allowing me to interview you.
Yeah, man.
You have shows coming up on
Yeah.
June 14th, June 21st, and June 28th. I think we're going to miss the June 25th or the June
That's
5th,
fine.
excuse me,
Yeah, that's fine.
show. But at least if anybody wants to check it out,
Please come out.
I'll have all their links going to be on the actual videos. So definitely check them out. Follow his pages on Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a TikTok too?
No, I mean, I personally, you can also follow me personally. Like I do some fun video game tournaments at Happy Valley. So follow me
Okay.
as well. I post stuff like that. But no, I have, if you follow me on TikTok, I have that. But the theater doesn't yet. Just
Okay.
because, yeah, we will. That's like the later step of like when I can start filming sets and then cutting those clips up.
Yeah.
That's when we can start doing it. But yeah, no, not yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, everybody, this is Mr. 845. We're going to be hitting the streets, checking out more small businesses every Wednesday, 12 in the afternoon, as when all these videos air. The biggest thing that you could do is either watch the videos to the fullest or just support the businesses that I interview. That's either or both. Who cares, because it's free stuff, right? Following and just watching the videos is free stuff. All we need is your time. All right, guys. That being said, check us out. We're going to be interviewing more. Stay tuned.